forgot about that. Master said his hips hurt too much to perform. Completely. But we can manage something in 3 weeks. We had to manage somehow.
でも大変なのはそれだけじゃないよ。私あの人のバンドって知ってるけど、かなり上手いよ。ボーカルだけじゃなくてみんな。
You know what? I don't care. Bring it, Kanade said sternly. For Kanade to say that, Samajima-san's band must be something. Is Samajima-san's group that good?
もしプロになってもいい線いくと思う。実際そういう誘いもあるって噂だし。
I see. Thinking about it now, it is the band Kaguya-san joined. She would never join a band that was just messing around. She joined them precisely because of their potential. So if her eyes were right, then the band itself had to be quite capable. No, we'll be alright. We still won't lose.
ほんと、翔一くんって負けず嫌いだよね。たまに子供みたい。
We won't lose. But either way, we had to do something about our drummer. Obviously, we had to look for someone new. But I might as well ask Master one more time.
チカ、もっと優しくしろって。
だってもう手疲れた。これで50円じゃ割に合わないよ。
Master's hips pain seems to have gotten worse, and he has Chika-chan massaging him right from this morning. In other words, it was hard to even walk.
まったくだらしないんだから、腰痛で歩けなくなるなんて。
This looks like asking is impossible. Shouldn't you go see a doctor about this? Won't you have problems later on as well as if you don't treat your hips properly?
やだね。医者なんて何するか分かったもんじゃねえ。
そんなこと言ってただ怖いだけでしょ。まったく子供なんだから。
んなこと言ったって医者なんか言って注射とかされたらどうすんだよ。
注射くらい我慢してよ。
注射されるぐらいなら死ぬ。
This is no good. I don't think he'll heal for a while. I guess I'll just have to find a new drummer. During practice, I told Gonda-san and Yayoi-chan about what happened, and about how we ended up with a gig out of those unexpected... You're the one who got us a stupid gig in the first place. He yelled at me. Gonda-san looked quick to get into fights, so I thought he'd all have been all for it. I don't have any rebuttal for that. It's true that I thought it was childlike now, but even Samajima-san acted like a stubborn kid, so we were both even there. If I had just acted mature and withdrew, I'm sorry, I'm sure I've made more fun of me over and over in triumph. I let my blood get to my head, but you can't withdraw when someone's challenging you, can you? Gonda-san was absolutely right. I was surprised at him actually acting mature.
でも今さら断れないでしょ。
んなもん当たり前だ。一度受けておいて今さら断ったりしたら一生そいつにバカにされるぞ。やるからには全力で叩き潰す。
Gonda-san clenched his fists hard. Oh, he was so raring to go.
男子ってみんな子供だな。でもそうじゃなくっちゃね。
Sorry for getting you caught up in all this too.
まあ私はいいけど、こういうシチュって燃えるじゃない。こうなったらコテンパンにしてやろうよ。私らに喧嘩売ったこと後悔するぐらいに。
Yayoi-chan was into it more than I thought too. It was great to...
エイジさんは相手のバンドを知ってるでしょ。
ハイエナだろ。
High and No? That's terrible. Their band's called a High and No?
正確にはハイ&ナッシング、通称ハイエナ。
High and Nothing. High and No. I see.
昔から結構いい。
It's very clever.
その頃はクロート好みはするが地味なバンドでな。 ボーカルが変わってから一般の受けも良くなって評価が上がってるとは聞いた。
So that vocalist was Kaguya-san. So it was a band with a wide approval because Kaguya-san was in it. So that's why Samejima-san wouldn't accept Kaguya-san quitting. But I guess even the other members' abilities were also the real deal. That was the reason Samejima-san was that confident and bold.
実際問題、こっちは分が悪いよね。知名度も評価も場数だって当然あっちの方が踏んでるし、そもそもうちは結成したばっかりでまだちゃんとメンバーすら揃ってないんだから。その点向こうはボーカル以外は結成メンバーだしね。
So naturally, their unity was stronger. She listed nothing but negative factors. But still, Yayoi-chan didn't seem to deter at all. In fact, she looked excited.
要は大将の出来次第ってことだろ。うちで一番足引っ張ってるのは大将だからな。
I know. I'll do my best to make up for that. I couldn't drag us down after getting us into this. I needed to practice to death before our next concert. And also find a new drummer. Gonda-san, do you anyone... It says right there, Gonda-san, do you anyone who's a good drummer? That's why I fuck up all the time. See, it's not me. Do you know anyone who's a good drummer? Screw these translations. I knew it wasn't me. At any rate, I didn't have any connections on that end. Gonda-san seemed to have been in their industry for a while, so we should know a lot of people though.
さあな。いいドラムってのは少ないし、マスターと比べたら誰でも見劣りするだろうからな。
You're right. So it wouldn't go that easily.
まあ心当たりは当たってみるが、期待しないでくれ。俺はみんなに嫌われてるから。
That made so much sense I couldn't say anything. Gonda-san's leads didn't look very hopeful.
私も当たってみるけど、何しろこっち方面は知り合いが少ないんで、私の方も期待しないで。
It's okay. You'll try your best, Yayoi. Alright, well, for now, just ask around where you can. Doesn't look like I'll be able to count on much from Yayoi-chan either. We've got a long road ahead of us. I wonder if there's anyone. There was a bulletin board on the waiting area next to the reception that our customers could use freely. There were several papers for people looking for band members. Not really. There were a lot of people trying to recruit members, but not many for people trying to find a group. And amongst the ones who were, there were even fewer drummers. Guess it was impossible to find one easily. But what do I do now?
Shoichi! ちょっと買い物頼んでもいいか?
Oh, yes, sure. What should I go get? I can't think about our drummer and nothing else though. I had my job to do, too. I haven't forgotten anything, have I? I checked the shopping list again. Doesn't look like I forgot anything. Who the heck's that guy? I stopped in my tracks as I heard someone sighing like it was the end of the world. Quit sighing! There was a man hanging his head in disappointment on a bench in front of the station. I felt pity just looking at him. Get over it. It's all over? Was he going to be alright? It didn't seem like I could leave him alone. Leave him! Whatever happens, happens. I hesitantly called out, and the man slowly raised his head. He didn't look like he had much life in him. Are you alright? That was a quick answer. This person really was in trouble, wasn't he? I couldn't just leave him alone. I don't if it's okay to ask. I don't know. Why is there never a no? I don't know if it's okay to ask him this after just meeting, but did something bad happen? Sure. Oh boy.
菅沼さん、聞いてます？
I ended up listening to him for hours, and I cut a lot of it out. No, I'm just kidding. If that was just regular transition, I'm listening. Tamano-san talked a lot. It seemed he wanted someone to listen to him. This man was Tamano Etsuji. Etsuji, yes. Tamano Etsuji-san. It seems he was planning to get married again, apparently, but the hall that they were planning to hold the ceremony in a week from now had burned down in a fire. Yeah, kinda sucks.
式の直前になって式場が火事になるなんて。
It wasn't meant to be.
どうして私がこんな目に遭わなくちゃならないんです？ねえ、どうしてです？
Well, I wouldn't know.
私はどうしたらいいか。
I gotta get that whole thing. He heaved another long sigh. The other partner's parents were currently living overseas and had already returned to Japan for a visit home as well as a vacation. So with that as well, they didn't want to change the date. But
でも1週間後の式場なんてそんな都合よく見つからないですよ。
So after all that, he built up a lot of depression. I had a moment like that recently, so I shared his feelings. At a time like this, you had to have fun and clear your feelings. As for what I could recommend now, Tamano-san, why don't you take a breather?
はい。
I brought Tamano-san to the lighthouse. God, this is a little much for him. He's like an old man. It seems it was his first time coming to a place like this. Tamano-san was literally struck dumb by his very...
これは想像以上にすごい音。すごい音ですね。
The power of rock! Rock and roll! Oh, what is this? Sorry. He realized I couldn't hear him at a normal volume and repeated himself in a loud voice. Just shouting like that should at least help relieve some...
体の中までじんじん振動が伝わってくる。こんな大きな音で鼓膜がおかしくなりはしないですかね。
Shouldn't. Not unless you're crazy. You'll be fine.
あれは何ですか？皆さんなんだかバッタのように跳ねてますけど。
That's how they keep... They're keeping rhythm. Everyone's really enjoying them.
あんなに頭を激しく打って大丈夫なんでしょうか？あれは何の儀式で？
It is a ritual. Ritual for the demons.
At least that's what some people used to think rock was. No, it's no ritual. They're just letting the music move their bodies.
音楽に身を任せる。
Yeah, feel the rhythm in your bodies. Why don't you give it a try, Tamano-san? However, Tamano-san hesitated. I guess he didn't understand how he was supposed to let it do so. Just relax. Follow everyone else's lead.
力を抜いてみんなと同じように。
Yes! Tamano-san began to move jerkingly. Don't hold back. Go for it. Tamano-san began shaking more and more.
俺は思ったより。
God, he's gonna go crazy. It looked like he was getting into the groove. I could tell his body was growing in tune with the rhythm. How is it? It's nice every once in a while, isn't it?
いいですね。でも私こんなことしていていいんですかね？結婚式場も探さないといけないのに。
Do it here! You also need to let loose too. Just forget about everything for now and let your heart have fun.
そうですね。では。
Oh, he did go crazy! Tamano-san suddenly let out a mad cry. Those around him heard the cry, even amidst the loud music. Several people turned towards Tamano-san. That face! Look at him! He was going wild. They say diligent people are crazy when they let loose, and Tamano-san was a perfect example of that. Tamano-san suddenly let out a mad cry. Those around him heard the cry, even amidst the loud music. Several people turned towards Tamano-san. That face! Look at him! He was going wild. They say diligent people are crazy when they let loose, and Tamano-san was a perfect example of that. Isn't he too wild? Will he be alright? Several of the guests grew even more enthusiastic at Tamano-san's performance. Their excitement even reached the stage. The entrance hall was filled with amazing energy. Oh, Kanade. Well, actually... Tamano-san's energy couldn't be stopped. He clearly crossed some line. No. Actually, I brought him here. He lost. He just lost it. I could hear a pathetic cry from Tamano-san. He had swung his head too hard, making him dizzy and unsteady. Tamano-san, look at... Tamano-san had a crazy fall. His eyes really were spinning. Let's carry him out for now, Kanade. Grab that in. No, you rocked out, dude. You're a champion. He was just a little anemic. Oh, that could do it. Once he rested in the office for a while, his color and energy were... No, I'm sorry. I'm the one who forced you to come. I didn't know what would happen after he collapsed, but he was looking much better than the man I met this afternoon. Dang it, hiccups. When I first met him, he looked like he was about to disappear from this world. I'm glad you're feeling better then. Things like that are nice once in a while, aren't they? Tamano-san whispered with a sigh. Tamano-san wore a sad smile. It seems the other reason why Tamano-san was depressed, aside from the ceremony hall being burned down. If you'd like, why don't you tell us about it? When I offered, Tamano-san thought for a moment and began to speak. Go on. That would be a difficult age. Kanade nodded in agreement too. Did you have a time like that too, Kanade? That's so. Other things happen. Huh. So to her, I guess the father who left her when she was young was her one and only father. That would be why she doesn't want to see Tamano-san, who was going to be her new father. Tamano-san smiled sadly. I don't think it's possible for a bad person to smile that way. But if they won't see each other and try talking it out, they'll never know. But then again, maybe it's not even something logic can handle. Tamano-san had just mentioned something like that. He nodded in reply to her question.
別れたお父さんというのがプロのミュージシャンだったらしくて、ドラムをやっていたとか。
That's how we're gonna do it! Oh, dang it, I pushed that button again. But my life.
その影響で彼女もドラムがとてもうまいらしいんですよ。
Things work out, guys, when you do nice things. Remember that. It's how I live my life. The drums, you say? Is that what they call synchronicity? This was right when I was in the search of a new drummer, and I felt the tug of destiny. It's destiny! The girl who loves rock because of her divorced father and a new father who wanted to be loved by that girl, huh? Maybe it was some kind of destiny for us to have met. Is there anything I can do to help them?
こんなこと言うと変だと思うかもしれないですけど。
Kanade timidly voiced what I was thinking.
玉野さんは結婚式場を探してるんですよね。でも見つからない。
Do it here.
まったく。
だったらその結婚式ここでやりません？うちの。
It was a sudden, bold proposal. Tamano-san and I glanced at each other. Hold the wedding?
ライブハウスで？
Has there ever been a wedding like that? No. I've heard of couples who like diving holding their ceremonies in the ocean, so it can't be unheard of. But
どうでしょうか。
いや、それは。
Tamano-san was still hesitant. I don't blame him. Today was his first time at a live house. But it's only a week from now. We can't set aside the opening so suddenly either, right? It's next.
でも結婚式って昼間でしょ？
Oh, I see. Even though we have gigs every day, they're at night. There's setups and rehearsals too, but at the earliest, those are in the afternoon. The hall is usually empty until at least 2 in the afternoon.
日曜の朝9時頃からお昼過ぎぐらいの時間帯なら空いてます。何百人も席を作るのは難しいですけど、立食形式ならある程度なんとかなると思うんです。
Yeah, we could pull it off, Kanade. You're...
玉野さんさえ良ければだけど。
Tamano-san? What do you say? Tamano-san gave it some hard thought. I thought it was a good idea, but for Tamano-san, who would only just come to a live house for the first time, maybe holding it here was too much to ask.
ここで式をやったら、リムちゃんも来てくれるでしょうか。
Tamano-san let that slip as he thought to himself. I guess Rimu-chan is the name of his fiance's daughter. Tamano was worried because Rimu-chan wouldn't show any interest in him. But since Rimu-chan hadn't an interest in rock and bands due to her previous father's interest, then maybe we shouldn't come if it was at a live house.
そうですよ。きっと来てくれますよ。
Yes! Kanade encouraged Tamano-san. It seems that he helped Tamano-san make up his mind.
わかりました。よしこさん、彼女にも相談してみます。
That night, we got a call from Tamano-san. He asked us to please go ahead with the holding ceremony here.